Hi, I'd like to introduce my good friend Becky Williams and Mark Francis. Becky Williams is a singer, songwriter from Stoneham, Massachusetts, and Becky has recorded 2 CDs with her original music, and she's presently working on her 3rd. And tonight at Community Access, Becky's going to present her program of inspiring stories and songs called Hero's Journey. And Mark Francis will accompany her on lead guitar and vocals. And Mark has also completed a CD, his first CD, and that's great. Guys, we can't wait to hear your music. All right, let's do it.
Good evening. Columbus and the Pilgrims were the heroes I had known. They dared to follow their dreams where others said they could not go. Then came wagon wheels, forging trails through open plains, searching for some fertile ground to plant their dreams. These were the pioneers in their time, and they were dancing in the mystery, living on the edge, exploring places they've never been, dancing on the edge of a dream, trusting in love and all that life brings. They're dancing, dancing in the mystery. There is a fire in his eyes, a man of a different kind, exploring new frontiers beyond the worlds of space and time. It is a journey of the heart that takes him deep enough to find one hand in the unknown, the other given to one behind. Now there's one hero I've known in our time, and he's dancing in the mystery, living on the edge, exploring places he's never been, dancing on the edge of a dream, trusting in love and all that life brings. He's dancing, dancing in the mystery. Though 1,000 miles from anywhere, a lone traveler in the dark, she could light a path to heaven's door with that love burning in her heart. There were tests so tough, it was on faith that she'd survive the cold air of the night, just her and that lone star in the sky to guide her journey back home. And she's dancing in the mystery, living on the edge, exploring places she's never been, dancing on the edge of a dream, trusting in love and all that life brings. She's dancing, we're dancing, dancing in the mystery, living on the edge, exploring places we've never been, dancing on the edge Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, that song, as you might have guessed, is called Dancing in the Mystery. And the first part of the song talks about the heroes of history that a lot of us are already familiar with. But the rest of the song talks about everyday heroes like you and me, people that are just facing difficult challenges in life and rising to the occasion. And that's the focus of the Hero's Journey program that we're going to do tonight. I was first introduced to the concept of the Hero's Journey through Joseph Campbell. I was watching an interview on cable, actually it was on public television. And he talked about the Hero's Journey as being sort of a study that he did of great legends and all the myths and great stories that we know, like The Wizard of Oz, or even Star Trek, some of the more recent movies and programs that we're familiar with. But in each of these stories, there's a hero that goes through a lot of trials and tribulations to get to where they want to go or to realize this dream. And then he went on to say that we are all really experiencing the hero's journey ourselves in our own lives, and that's why we connect so deeply with these stories. And the hero's journey is really an inner journey. He said that it was a journey to wholeness and understanding that we go through. So the songs that I'm going to do tonight are all inspired by some phase or step of the hero's journey that I've gone through in my own experience, or it could even be a lesson that I learned from this hero's journey, my own experiences with that. And the hero's journey always begins in the ordinary world. If you think of Dorothy, she was living on the farm and looking out at the rainbow and wondering what was out there, and she wanted to find out. She had this longing. So it starts with this kind of longing for something greater, something more in our lives. So this next song that I'm going to do actually starts out when I'm a young child, and I think I was upset about something, and I can't remember what, but I was crying, and I ran out of the house. And my plan was to just run away, but I quickly realized I had nowhere to go, I was a young kid. And I just stopped, and it was a summer night, and I looked up at the sky, and I was so amazed when I looked up there, and I saw this endless universe in front of me. And at that moment, I felt really, really small. And I wondered, well, do I have any significance in this world? And what is this all about? Is there some reason why I'm here? Is there somewhere I'm going? I had all these questions. And that was when I first heard the whisper of the call, which is the first step on the hero's journey. And that's the title song that we're going to do now, called The Hero's Journey. As a child, I lay down on the grass one night, counting every star in that sky, and I wondered if God was looking out for me from infinity, farther than I could see. So I posed all my questions to the great sky, hoping thunder and lightning might light up the night. The sky never answered, though I thought I could hear a small voice whisper in my ear. Follow that road, your heart will know the way I've learned many a lesson going to and from extremes, but find me that sweet spot that lies between, where a small voice whispers in my dreams. Follow that road, your heart will know the way of the hero's journey. It may be bitter or sweet, but all roads will lead to the way of the hero's journey. And it's a hard time when I don't know what lies ahead. So I follow that road. My heart will know the way of the hero's journey. You're gonna know. Your heart will show you the way of the hero's journey. Follow that road. Your heart will know. Thank you. Thank you. Well, the first time we hear the call, we rarely listen, right? We could be really unhappy with our circumstances in life, and we really want things to be different, but it's really hard to let go because we have this fear of the unknown and, that terror of what lies next, And this phase that Joseph Campbell talks about in The Hero's Journey is called refusal of the call. But the only way that we can take the next step, we have to let go of the past. We have to let go of the old so that we can take a new step into the future. And personally, I've experienced this a lot in my life. This song that I'm going to do will share some of my own experiences with letting go. I talk about a relationship that was hard to let go of, and the real inspiration for this song came when one summer, every summer I go up to the Adirondacks and stay in a cabin up in the mountains with a group of girlfriends, and we always sit in front of the fire late at night and kind of share what we've done for the day. And one particular night was kind of magical because we ended up really sharing a lot from our hearts about the deepest fears that we had or secrets that we'd held all our life, and this was our opportunity, to really let this stuff go. And we were sitting in front of the fire and crying and throwing our tissues in the fire, and it was just an amazing night. And I'm the night owl, so I was up late. Everybody had gone to bed, and I was sitting there watching the fire, and this song came out, and it's called Give It All to the Fire. I still remember that 4th of July, on the eve of our dying love. You invited me to the bonfire. You said, it's not fireworks, but it's fun. We watched them stack the timber higher than I ever thought they could. I shook inside when they lit that match. Remember, it's only wood. While sitting in the fire's orange glow, it must have read our hearts. He will never truly love you, it said, and it's time to walk apart. So give to me your heartbreak with all its hopes and its pain, and I will burn it down until only the truth of love remains. Give it all up to the fire. Give it all up to the fire when there's nothing left to hold on to. It was July again, and much time had since moved on. I was among 5 women that year, gathered at the Eagle Lodge. The glow of fire called us from the chilly mountain air as we formed a circle round the hearth for our evening share. Who could have known what it would draw from each of us that night? Surely not the deepest secrets, the ones long hidden from the light. Yet one by one we shared our stories, told our truth, let go our shame, and tossed our tear-soaked tissues into the blazing flame. Give it all up to the fire. Give it all up to the fire when there's nothing left to hold on to. In the silence between words, I've heard the fire speak. There is so much you must surrender in learning how to just be. So give to me your greatest fears with all their lies and all their blame, and I will burn them down until only the truth of love remains. Give it all up to the fire. Give it all up to the fire when there's nothing left to hold on to. Give it all up to the fire. Give it all up to the fire. There's nothing left to hold on to. So give it all up to the fire. 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 Holy fire. Holy fire. Give it all up now. Holy fire. Just give it all up. Holy fire. When there's nothing left to hold on to. Thank you. Well, most of us aren't born gallant heroes or heroines. Our bravery and our courage are something that we gain in spite of our failings and in spite of the fact that, we have to go through all these challenges. In fact, it's because of those challenges that we become brave and courageous, and our strength is really forged through our experiences. And sometimes when we're on the hero's journey and we're making some progress in the path, we have to really learn to totally believe in ourselves and to trust that we're going to be able to play our part, our role, to really know that we can do this. And this phase is called heeding the call to adventure. We've heard the call and we've let go of what we needed to, but now we have to really be willing to take the leap. And this involves a lot of inner strength. And we get to this point where we just have to go for it, and we're willing to risk everything for our dreams. And I remember a time in my life when I came upon this stage of the journey, and it's happened many times. We go through so many challenges, and we'll go through these phases many times. But in this particular time, I had finally let go of the aforementioned relationship in the last song, And I had lived in my home for 12 years, and it was a beautiful place in the woods, and I loved it there. But I was so far away from friends and activities, and it wasn't really suiting me anymore. And I had my business in the house, and I was working, 14-hour days, and really working at a job that was okay, but not really fulfilling me in the way I wanted it to. And I had just reached a place where I was ready for a big change. And I had been the kind of person that was always very security conscious. I liked my nest, I liked my nice home with the things around me. And yet I felt like I had to just kind of put all that aside and go on this vision quest. So I decided to sell my house, and it sold in like a month, and so I closed my business, and I sold off a lot of my possessions. I was maniac, I was like, this is it, the big leap. And I took everything I had and put it in what was left and put it in a 10 by 20 storage bin. And I have to tell you, the last day when I took the last load over, and I was standing in front of this bin, and like everything I owned in my life was stacked inside of there, boxes on top of boxes, and it was the most bewildering feeling to see that the sum total of my life could now be condensed down to this 10 by 20 box, and I looked at it and I realized what an illusion it really represented. And I got in my car, threw a suitcase in the back, and I had my cat, and we took off. And I went on a 2-month vision quest. I decided I didn't really have an agenda, but I kind of knew some places I wanted to visit, and I was out to find a new life. And this song I wrote on the road, and it's called Click Your Ruby Heels. Seems like a lifetime I've been holding up these walls, thinking I let go, they'd surely fall. So I dressed up the windows with curtains and tires and was content to daydream from inside, looking out, living in the shadows of doubt. Had a dream one night that I was losing my voice, and a man asked me to make a choice. He said, there's a river that's running through time, and you can dive in or you can sit on the side. It's up to you. Now tell me, what do you want to do? He told me, you can spend a whole lifetime becoming, or you can do what you came here to do. Though your walls may be shaking and crumbling, gotta click your ruby heels and know it's all there inside of you. So I threw my hat out the window, clear over the fence with all my best excuses and circumvents, and I've got me a ladder and a new set of rules, and I'm climbing over the chains. inside of you and click your ruby heels. Well, at the end of my odyssey, I'm continuing the story. I went all over the place. You know, I went many cities and places around the country and was looking for that, you know, paradise, you know, outside of Kansas. And I didn't find it. You know, everywhere I went, it was nice. You know, I loved places and I met great people and had wonderful adventures, but nothing said, this is home. You know, this is where you belong. And I found myself on the last leg of the trip on the way home. And I'm thinking, now what? You know, I've gone on this odyssey and I don't know where my home is anymore. And just at that moment, I turned on the radio and I heard this voice come over the radio. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. And I thought, well, I'll take that. You know, I'm going to listen to voices on the radio if that's all I've got. So I realized that even though I hadn't discovered this new place to live, that it really wasn't about finding a place to live. It wasn't about where I went. It was really about finding myself. And that happened on this trip. I learned to really be spontaneous, you know, because I didn't have an agenda. I didn't know where I was going. I kind of just listened in the moment and I really relaxed, you know, and just went with the flow of life. And I was really, really finally present for maybe the first time in my life, you know, just for a long time. And the most important thing was I realized what really matters to me in life, and that was to be near my friends and loved ones and to have the time to be with them and the time to do the things that I loved, like music, that I wasn't doing at the time. And so I went back and I found a new house, and it looked a lot like my other one. It was kind of funny. It looked like it was the same house, but I just moved it to a new place. And I was in the city, near activities and things to do and friends. And I started a new business, and it looked a lot like the old business, but I had a lot more time for creativity and freedom. And it was a new life. And so to the outside observer, they might say, well, you know, what changed? But inside, a lot changed. That being said, you know how easy it is to get pulled right back into the busyness of life and the structure and the stress of everyday living. And sure enough, one of these days when I was rushing around, you know, going from one appointment to the next, I was sitting in a doctor's office and I happened to look up and see a poem up on the wall. And the poem was called "If I Have My Life to Live Over," and it was attributed to an 83-year-old woman named Nadine Stair, who was looking back over her life and asking, you know, what would I do differently if I could live my life over? And what really mattered in this life? And as I read her words, I realized I didn't want to be 83 looking back over my life and asking what really mattered or what was most important. I wanted to do that now. And so I made a point of taking a copy of that poem and kind of my own thoughts and memories from my trip and what it reminded me about, you know, really being present and living in the moment, and put it into a song that would be a forever reminder for me. And we're going to do that song now. It's called "Love Is All There Is." If I had my life to live over, I'd travel much lighter this time. I'd take more chances, hold on to less, dare to step out of line, just to see what I'd find. You see, I've been one of those people who live life so seriously, hour after hour, day after day, year after year, bound by my fear. But now I give more love and worry less. Looking back now, I see how life provides the best, so I spend more time with my family and friends, 'cause in the end, you know, love is all there is. Oh, it comes right down to this: love is all there is. Love is all there is. If I had my life to live over, I'd slow down and take my time to find a kinder word, go for my best to lend a hand to those less fortunate. Oh, I seldom took the time just to look you in the eye, to listen and be there with you. Always something on my mind, something I've yet to find, something I've always found with you. And I give more love and worry less. Looking back now, I see how life provides the best, so I spend more time with my family and friends, 'cause in the end, you know, love is all there is. Oh, it comes right down to this: love is all there is. Love is all there is. If I have my life to live over, I'll travel much lighter this time. I'll do more laughing, eat more ice cream. I'll dare to dream I can do anything, and I'll give more love and worry less. Looking back now, I see how life provides the best, so I spend more time with my family and friends, 'cause in the end, you know, love is all there is. Oh, it comes right down to this: love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all. Love is all. Love is all there is. Thank you. Thank you. So, we've heard about the call and taking the leap into the unknown. And once we take that leap, Joseph Campbell calls the next step actually crossing the threshold. We've gone across the threshold. And typically what will happen in this phase of the journey is that obstacles will get in our way. It seems like the whole world is going to conspire now against us. We've finally gotten it together and we're going to make this leap. And we start to have problems and trials. But that's what makes a good story, right? And so he says that what happens at this point is the mentors come into our lives. And it can happen, we can have more than one mentor, but at precisely the moment that we need that person to show up, they'll be there for us. And it can be a friend, it can be a loved one, it can be a teacher, a spiritual teacher, a school teacher, but someone will come to us to help us. Now, again, we typically don't accept help the first time it's offered. We tend to have to wait for a crisis. We reach the point of crisis and then we say, okay, I'm ready. I'll accept this help, or I'll listen to what I'm being told. And sometimes it comes as a nudge from inside of us. It's just that we just cannot bear to go on like we have, and we want to take that leap so bad, and there's this higher part of ourselves that's really pushing us and nudging us forward. So this song that I'm going to do is actually a tribute to the mentor. And it's actually a co-write song. Mark and I wrote it together, and it's called Heart of My Heart. And I'm going to be singing it to a CD backup. This is the backup music from my CD. So you guys can just close your eyes and pretend like there's a big band manifested behind me all of a sudden here. And it's Heart of My Heart is the song.
Turns on the light. I've been walking in darkness, and I didn't even know I was a prince dressed in rags, an heir to the throne. In a dream came a postcard from out of the blue. Dear one is all it said, I've been missing you. And something stirred inside this heart of mine, a whisper from the past coming back through time. In that moment I remembered who I truly am, and how I've searched for this love since time began. Still this self-imposed wound can hurt us most of all. Feeling so unworthy, I turn from the call. Heart of my heart, you are the soul of my soul. Time after time you've led me to the threshold. This time I'll walk through that door and live this life like I never lived it before. Years went by and I don't know why, but I'd fall asleep again and still you'd try. You'd send all of your horses and all of your men to help me put the missing pieces back together again. And now your love has finally broken through, and if it takes my whole life, I'm gonna give it all back to you. Heart of my heart, you are the soul of my soul. Time after time you led me to the threshold. This time I'll walk through that door and live this life like I never lived it before. Now here I stand on the other side. There's no looking back. I've made up my mind to live this adventure for all that it's worth. To do it for love, to do it to serve. like a bird in the hand, thinking time was on my side, I'd get back to them again. Little did I know how quickly it goes. You've gotta catch that wave, go where the river flows. We all have a gift that only we can give. It's time to bring it out, time to truly live. Heart of my heart, you are the soul of my soul. Time after time, you've led me to the threshold. This time I'll walk through that door and live this life like I never lived it before. This time I'll walk through that door and live this life like I never lived it before. Live this life like I never lived it Thank you. Thanks. Well, I've observed a lot. I've observed a lot about the mechanics of change in my life. And I've discovered one incredible tool when I get stuck, and that's the power of gratitude. And this next song that I'm going to do was actually taught me the lesson. Believe it or not, a song taught me this lesson of gratitude. I had a broken heart, really bad, you know, like you all know, you've been there. And and these really dear friends of mine were getting married, and they wanted me to sing and write a song for them for their wedding. And I wanted to do it, but I was just not in the place. You know, my heart was just all shut down and sad. And I was really trying hard to write the song, but I was stuck on the chorus, and I got the invitation to their wedding in the mail, and they had a little poem from E. Cummings in there. I thank you, God, for most. And it was perfect words. It fit the song perfectly. And I said, that's it. You know, who can say it better than E. Cummings? That's going to be the chorus. And I had to practice this song so much that, you know, and the words are all about gratitude, thanking God for life and for beauty. And I couldn't help but get happy. I mean, I sang this song so many times that it really opened up my heart. And that's when I learned how powerful gratitude is. It's like saying to the universe, I'm grateful for what I have, and then it opens the door for the good things of life. And this song is called Amazing Day. Oh, I come by this love, it's just so natural, so right. Finally now I see myself by looking through your eyes. And there's one thing that I want, to give this love all back to you. So I give it to all life, I know that's what you'd have me do. You're my teacher, you're my brother, my love and my friend. You're in everyone I meet. This is a love without end. And I've never known a heart that is more gentle or more true. If I can learn the ways of love I know, I'll learn from you, from you. Thank you, God, for most. this amazing day for the leaping green leaf spirits of trees and a blue true dream of a sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. Now I have traveled very far to come deep inside what's true. I am soul and I exist by the grace and love of you. If I breathe, it is your essence. If I hear, it is your sound. And to see your love in everything is to dance on sacred ground. Thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping green leaf spirits of trees and a blue true dream of the sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes. Where does love come from after all of these years breathing thin air? I found you there. Thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping green leaf spirits of trees and a blue true dream of a sky, and for everything which is natural, which is infinite, which is yes, which is yes. Thank you, God, for most this amazing day.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to take a little break here. JoJo's going to come up and do a short interview with me, and then we're going to close with another song before we leave.
Becky, Mark, oh my goodness, that was beautiful. Wasn't that great? You're really pulling everyone's heartstrings. Becky, where can we go and find and hear the hero's journey? Where can we go?
Well, I'm doing this program. I do different versions of the programs. Mm-hmm. Tonight's kind of a concert storyline program. I do this show for yoga centers.
Really?
And I've done it for churches.
Wow, good.
And
I bet they love it there.
Yeah.
You really lift their spirits up.
Yeah, it was really funny. I did one of these shows down in Dallas at the Universalist Church. And when I pulled up to the church for the show, the marquee had for the Sunday worship service, The Hero's Journey. They were going to have a whole discussion about this at the worship service. And I said, well, I guess I'm in the right place, you know.
I guess you were.
Yeah.
And Becky, where can we find your CD?
I have a website, BeckyWilliamsMusic.com.
All right. I think you should say that again.
BeckyWilliamsMusic.com.
All right.
Yeah.
It's a great CD. I've heard it over and over and over again. And I love when you talk about gratitude. I mean, because that's what it's all about. When we're grateful, good things happen. Real good things happen.
Yeah.
So, Becky, a lot of us, don't know, but you are so creative. You worked for many toy companies, and I understand that you were the head toy designer,
Yeah.
and you worked alongside with Steven Spielberg. Can you believe that? Developing the Gremlins and the E.T. toys. And presently, you are also creating jewelry, which, by the way, you have on a beautiful piece, and I have on a beautiful piece of Becky Williams jewelry. So, and you're writing music. How does this all tie in?
Well, it's been interesting trying, I've always felt like I've had kind of a dual life. I have, my job, and then I have my music over here. And I finally found a really good match in doing the jewelry and the music. The music works mostly with the sound, and this, making jewelry is like art, working with light, and it's a nice balance. And I find that I get my creative juices just get flowing so much from either one that it feeds over into the other one, and it works great.
Well, you're right. You're in the correct industry, light and sound. So take it
That's it.
away. Take it away. You have one more song for us.
Yes.
Mark Francis, great job. All right. Thank you, Becky. Let's hear it for Becky Williams.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for tuning my guitar.
Oh, you're welcome.
And for playing such beautiful music. And I also want to thank all of you for listening to my stories and my songs. I really appreciated your smiles and nods. This song is called Still the Moment. On the grass in the shade, the sound of the rain against my window pane, and still of the moment with you. I love to watch the people stroll by my car window. They seem to step in rhythm to the songs on the radio. The silence is rolling like a river through my heart, and still the moment with you. On rolling, going round and round. Roll on without me this time. Gonna spread my wings and fly. Spread my wings and fly. Listening in the quiet with the beat of my own heart, the sound of children laughing as they play in the neighbor's yard. The scent of star jasmine, honeysuckle on the vine, and still of the moment with you. And that wheel keeps on rolling, going round, round and round. And roll on without me this time. Gonna spread my wings and fly. Spread my wings and fly. Why rush through this life like there's some finish line? And all the while I know it's here in this moment I'll find peace of mind. That wheel keeps on rolling. by the shore, the feel of sand on my bare feet, crashing waves and seagulls, and I've got a front row seat. All the glitter of that wheel can't begin to reveal what I find in the moment with you. And that wheel keeps on rolling